Mark Levin here. After any presidential election, I take time to reevaluate my own financial investments. That's why I continue to invest in gold for help with my financial protection. When it comes to gold, I only trust Advantage Gold. They're a top gold company in America, and that's who I turn to for my own gold purchases. Call them now at 800-900-8000. That's 800-900-8000 for a free gold investment kit. And see if you qualify for up to $1,000 in free silver. That's 800-900-8000. And tell them Mark Levin sent you. Performance may vary. You should always consult your financial and tax professional.
He's here. He's here. Now, broadcasting from the underground command post, deep in the bowels of a hidden bunker, somewhere under the brick and steel of a nondescript building, we've once again made contact with our leader, Mark Levin.
Mark Levin here. Our number, 877-381-3811, 877-381-3811. Man, there's a lot on the plate. But the president has a news conference with the Indian Prime Minister. I want to tap into this briefly. Go.
Actually, today I'm pleased to announce that my administration has approved the extradition of one of the plotters and one of the very evil people of the world, and having to do with the horrific 2008 Mumbai terrorist attack, to face justice in India. So he's going to be going back to India to face justice. As we deepen our defense partnership, we'll also strengthen our economic ties and bring greater fairness and reciprocity to our trading relationship. As a signal of good faith, Prime Minister Modi recently announced the reductions to India's unfair, very strong tariffs that limit U.S. access into the Indian market very strongly. And really, it's a big problem, I must say. India imposes a 30 to 40 to 60 and even 70% tariff on so many of the goods, and in some cases far more than that. And as an example, a 70% tariff on U.S. cars going into India, which makes it pretty much impossible to sell those cars. Today, the U.S. trade deficit with India is almost $100 billion. And Prime Minister Modi and I have agreed that we'll begin negotiations to address the long-running disparities that should have been taken care of over the last 4 years, but they didn't do that in the U.S.-India trading relationship, with the goal of signing an agreement. And we want, we want a certain level playing field, which we really think we're entitled to. And he does also, in fairness. So we're going to work on that very hard, and we can make up the difference very easily with the deficit, with the sale of oil and gas, LNG, of which we have more than anybody in the world. The Prime Minister and I also reached an important agreement on energy that will restore the United States as a leading supplier of oil and gas to India. It will be hopefully their number one supplier. In the groundbreaking development for U.S. nuclear industry, India is also reforming its laws to welcome U.S. nuclear technology, which is at the highest level, into the Indian market. This will bring safe, clean, and affordable electricity to millions of Indians and tens of billions of dollars to the U.S. civilian nuclear industry in India. And under the framework we are announcing today, the United States and India are also joining forces to ensure that artificial intelligence and other advanced technologies are developed by the two of the most, really two of the most advanced nations, intellectually and otherwise technologically. Anywhere in the world, there's nobody very much closer. We have an incredible relationship there, and this is where it seems to be heading. And artificial intelligence, a very complex subject, but it seems to be where people want to be and they want to go, and we're leading right now by a lot, but other people will try to catch us. I don't know if they're going to be able to. We're going to make it available. We're going to make tremendous amounts of electricity available. We're going to let the people that are buying the electricity make their own electric plants, electric generation plants. And we've never done this in our country, but we're going to get it done very quickly. Lee Zeldin and his group are going to get the approvals in very rapid form. And we're calling it a national emergency, and that's exactly what it is. So we're going to remain at the top of the AI, or artificial intelligence, I think, for a long time to come. And we're going to be working very closely with India and other countries on that. But right now, we're the leader by quite a bit. Finally, we agreed to work together to help build one of the greatest trade routes in all of history. It will run from India to Israel to Italy and onward to the United States, connecting our partners by ports, railways, and undersea cables, many, many undersea cables. It's a big development. It's a lot of money going to be spent, and we've already spent some, but we're going to be spending a lot more in order to stay advanced and stay the leader. I'm pleased to report that with today's announcements, the friendship between the United States and India is the strongest I believe it's ever been. I think our relationship is the best it's ever been between two leaders of the two countries, and it's an honor to say that. I'd like to now invite the Prime Minister to say a few words, and then we'll take some questions, and we appreciate you all being here. Thank you very much. Thank you, David.
Your Excellency,
President Trump, delegates of both countries, friends from the media,
Live press conference, President
Namaskar.
Trump and Prime Minister Modi of India.
I would like to, first of all, express my heartfelt gratitude to my dear
And in a
friend,
few minutes, we'll pull away, but I want to explain to you why this is so important.
accorded to me. President Trump's leadership has been instrumental in nurturing India-US ties and making them vibrant. I could feel today the same enthusiasm, the same energy, the same commitment that we had worked with during our first term. Our discussions today highlighted our pride in our accomplishments during his first term, the deep mutual trust that we share, and also the resolve to attain new goals. We also agreed that the partnership and cooperation between India and the US can shape a better world. Friends, the people of America are aware of President Trump's motto, "Make America Great Again," or MAGA. The people of America are well aware of it. The people of India, too, are focusing on both heritage and development as they move forward at a fast pace and with a firm resolve to ensure a developed India by 2047. If I were to say this, borrowing an expression from America, our vision for a developed India is to make India great again, or MEGA. When America and India work together, that is, when it's MAGA plus MEGA, it becomes MEGA, a mega partnership for prosperity. And it is this mega spirit that gives new scale and scope to our objectives. Friends, today we have also set ourselves the target of more than doubling our bilateral trade to attain $500 billion by 2030. Our teams will work on concluding very soon a mutually beneficial trade agreement in order to ensure India's energy security. We will focus on trade in oil and gas. Investment in energy infrastructure will also increase. In the area of nuclear energy, we also discussed increasing cooperation on small modular reactors. Friends, America plays an important role in India's defense preparedness. As strategic and trusted partners, we are moving forward actively towards joint development, joint production, and transfer of technology. In the times to come as well, new technologies and equipment will enhance our capacities.
We have decided to launch the Autonomous Systems Industry Alliance, and a defense cooperation framework for the next decade will be prepared. Defense interoperability, logistics, repair, and maintenance will also be its key components. Friends, the 21st century is a technology-driven century. Close cooperation in the area of technology between countries that believe in democratic values can give new direction, strength, and opportunities to the entire...
Let me break away here briefly and explain a few things, if I may. We've talked about this before on my various platforms. India is a crucial country. It is a massive population. Geographically, it's very, very important. It also borders Communist China. Communist China is constantly agitating to take land from China, as it's agitating to take islands off of Japan, as it's agitating to take islands from the Philippines, as it's agitating and threatening the navigable waters in Vietnam, as it's agitating Australia, and as it's pushing the outer boundaries of its power and its control geographically, militarily, and economically. India is not a powerhouse yet, but it can be a powerhouse. India works very, very closely with Israel and vice versa. Why? Because Israel is a technological juggernaut. The United States and Israel work very closely together. Israel is a technological juggernaut on military technology, among other things. And it's leading the way. President Reagan was the first to really think about the strategic defense initiative. And the Israelis signed an MOU with the United States a few years later, really the only country to embrace it, even beyond us. And that's why they have this Iron Dome and these multiple missile tiered systems of defense. We do too, but not in a way that protects the United States. We have a few areas of the United States that are protected, but the rest of the United States is naked. Israel has actually advanced beyond us in this area. And Israel has taken the lead. We are also working on it, but we haven't advanced as far as they have on laser weapons. That will change everything. That will be able to, destroy drones in the air. You won't have to have missiles hitting missiles. The power, the power of light to energize light. This is something that's science fiction. The Israelis have been really focused on this for obvious reasons. India is not ignorant about this. India wants to tap into this. Israel is working with India on many fronts, and India is purchasing technologies from Israel as well. Now, why is this important? Because if you look at a map, and even beyond a map, you realize that India is a crucial, not just economic strategic partner, not just geographic strategic partner, but military strategic partner. Very, very important. Now, India has strong ties to Russia. They've had strong ties for a long time. India had ties to Russia before they had ties to us. We had ties in the past to other countries, including Pakistan. But Pakistan, as you can see, it's still important to be in an alliance with Pakistan, given what's going on there. But India is a very, very crucial alliance, and it's starting something that Nixon and Kissinger actually started. So it's important to have these economic ties. India, like China, is starving of energy. We have plentiful energy. And when you look at what Donald Trump is doing, he's trying to reindustrialize certain of our industries, including our shipbuilding industry, which is way behind the communist Chinese. We literally need to restart it. You can see energy production, where he is hell-bent on advancing this in every way possible. That's crucial. And you can see artificial intelligence. Donald Trump spending a lot of time and resources and focus on this because it's crucial. More when I return.
Mark Levin.
Did you see what the Federal Reserve did literally days after President Trump's victory? It's lowered interest rates by a quarter. Do you know why it did that? It's worried about the economy. It's worried about the fact that jobs aren't being created. We're seeing all kinds of shifts in our portfolios, and it's important to stay aware. That's why I'm urging everyone to diversify and consider gold as one of your financial shields. Now, gold has weathered every kind of economic downturn throughout history. I want you to call Advantage Gold. They're the best of the best, folks. I've dealt with all of them. They're the best. They're my gold company. 1-800-900-8000. Get a free gold investment kit to see how you can get started with gold. I recommend Advantage Gold to anyone who's serious about protecting their wealth, and that's you. Call 800-900-8000 for your free gold investment kit, and you can even qualify for up to $1,000 in free silver. That's 800-900-8000. Call them now. Tell them Mark Levin sent you. You'll be very happy with them. Performance may vary. You should always consult your financial and tax professional. We're going to go back because this question and answer stuff is actually intriguing. Go ahead.
Anywhere in the world, they've been very strong on tariffs, and I don't blame them necessarily, but it's a different way of doing business. It's very hard to sell into India because they have trade barriers, very strong tariffs. We are right now a reciprocal nation. We are going to, if it's India or if it's somebody else with low tariffs, we're going to have the same. We're going to have whatever India charges, we're charging them. Whatever another country charges, we're charging them. So it's called reciprocal, which I think is a very fair way. We didn't have that. I was going to do that.
By the way, as a free marketer, I think that is very fair. I think that is very fair. It's a tax. That's what a tariff is. It's a tax on a product by another country. So if they're going to tax our products and tax them in a way that it harms our industries, harms our employees, harms our businesses, then so be it. I'll be right back. The markets are volatile. They're shooting up wildly only to drop without warning. The Fed just cut rates yet again, this time by a quarter point. Why? Because the Federal Reserve is not confident the economy is strong. In fact, last month only 12,000 jobs were created, all of them in the government. That's why I'm telling you again, diversification is crucially important. And diversification with gold is what I do. And the company I use, and I've used many, the best one is Advantage Gold. Call them now at 800-900-8000 for a free gold investment kit to see how gold can help you diversify your investments and take advantage now. Now, gold has been helping to protect and grow wealth for people for thousands of years. And in these times, it could be more crucial than ever. When it comes to gold, I trust Advantage Gold. They're one of the top gold companies in America. They're who I turn to when I purchase gold. Call them now, 800-900-8000. Call 800-900-8000 now for a free gold investment kit to see how gold can help you with your investment portfolio, a.k.a. your bank accounts, your paycheck. And when you do, you could qualify for $1,000 in free silver. That's 800-900-8000. Folks, don't wait. Call them now, 800-900-8000, and tell them Mark Levin sent you. Performance may vary. You should always consult your financial and tax professional.
Mark Levin, tough as hell.
That's why I like Mark Levin. And I'm not sure a lot of people like him. He's tough as hell. But I like him. I love him.
Call in now. 877-381-3811.
Ladies and gentlemen, massive corruption, massive fraud, massive redistribution of your wealth and our debt to corrupt radical left-wing organizations and causes here and overseas. You've got flat-out fraud taking place. Tens of billions of dollars in Social Security that is diminishing the availability of funds that seniors who've paid into it and soon-to-be seniors who will be coming into that program. I can't think of a single justification for any of this. Not one. Yet apparently it's the official position of the Democrat Party to use their state attorneys general to bring lawsuits to stop the Trump administration, to stop Elon Musk, to stop all these folks who are volunteering time, patriotic citizens, from auditing, from investigating, from gathering information, and then do something about it. There's now a mega lawsuit that's been brought by these Democrat attorneys general. They're all working in concert. They're colluding. They're conspiring. Challenging Elon Musk's appointment as unconstitutional. Challenging their access to information as unconstitutional. They're trying to drive a stake through the efforts to uncover all this fraud, waste, and abuse. That, ladies and gentlemen, amounts to hundreds and hundreds of billions of dollars. It is now clear that the Democrat Party stands for and would not only continue but expand massive amounts of fraud in our government. So you have to assume they're benefiting from it. Their causes are benefiting from it. Their organizations are benefiting from it. Can you tell me one Democrat leader who's put forward any proposals whatsoever to deal with this? None. Can you tell me what the Biden regime in 4 years did about this? You might say, what about Trump? That's interesting. Trump was busy fighting impeachments and criminal investigations and subpoenas and all the rest. So the Democrats, the same Democrats that did everything they could to kneecap him, to prevent him from pursuing his agenda, to prevent him from doing what he's doing now they complain that he wasn't doing it. We're not stupid. We know what's going on here. The Democrat Party wants the corruption, wants the fraud. Otherwise, what explains their conduct? They haven't said, let's work with the Republicans, let's work with Trump and figure out what's going on here. No, they're in courts. They're cherry-picking the radical left-wing judges in these radical left-wing cities. And then the irony of them claiming that these things are unconstitutional. I'm not going to take lectures from these bastards about the Constitution when they've spent years telling us through critical race theory, through the 1619 Project, that the Constitution itself is poisonous, is cancerous, that was written by a bunch of slaveholders that the Constitution reinforces white privilege? This is what they said. This is how they lectured us. These were the guests on cable and elsewhere. They've written books about it. Bestsellers. Promoted by corporate America. Promoted by corporate media. Academia. They set up organizations on college campuses, heavily funded to promote this propaganda. We were told the Constitution's too old, needs to be modernized. We were told that the Constitution enshrined privilege, white privilege. And now the Democrat Party waves around the Constitution, wraps itself in the Constitution as it now attacks an administration that's trying to actually abide by the Constitution and the Declaration of Independence. They're not violating any laws. They're not violating any provisions of the Constitution. And yet this is the allegation. The Democrat Party is more than schizophrenic. It's Sybil. It's got 20 personalities. Whatever works. Whatever they need to say. What is it that drives the Democrat Party? Is it the best interest of you, the American people? Is it the best interest of the country as a whole? Is it really the Constitution? When they scheme and plot day in and day out on how to usurp it and skirt it? What have I told you the Democrat Party is about? Power. I've said it enough times that they're regurgitating on our favorite cable network and elsewhere. Power. That's what it's about. They see their power under attack. They don't care about corruption. It's their corruption. It's their organizations. It's their ideology that's being funded, not ours. So it doesn't matter if money's wasted. They don't view it as wasted at all. This guy, Elon Musk, we should be thanking God that we have people like this. Extraordinary. He's come along in a time in history when we need somebody like this and need the people he's bringing to bear on this massive Leviathan. Thank God that Donald Trump won the election while they tried to stop him in every way possible. He'd be serving time in a federal prison today if the Democrat Party had its way. If the media had its way, he'd be in federal prison today as I speak to you. And Kamala Harris would be the president of the United States. We have entities within our government that's actually funding terrorism. That's actually funding UNRWA, that backs and supports and funds terrorism. You haven't heard a single Democrat complain about it. Not one. They're not on TV banging the pots and pans. They're not doing it at CNN with this Caitlin Collins, Jake Tapper, Wolf Blitzer, and the rest of the buffoons. MSNBC, they're on the attack. You don't get any information if you're watching MSNBC. None of it. Over $36 trillion debt. If you include the stuff they put off budget, entitlements, it's over $300 trillion. They don't want to cut anything. They don't want to cut anything out of this morass, this edifice that they've created. Nothing. They had a hearing today. The Democrats, all they did was attack Elon Musk over and over again. Then attack Donald Trump. Then wave around the Constitution. The Democrat Party waving around the Constitution. Seriously, America? Certainly wasn't our Constitution. Probably the old Soviet Constitution. After years of telling us what a diabolical document it was, after years of supporting their militia, pulling down monuments to the founders of this country and the framers of the Constitution. Now they're going to lecture you and me about the Constitution? Hell no, we're not going to put up with that. And the American people are onto this. You actually have a political party that is trying legally and through propaganda to stop the finding, the investigation, the auditing of corruption in our government, of which there is an unimaginable amount. Unimaginable. that are destroying things like Social Security and Medicare. They're not concerned that illegal aliens are on Social Security and Medicare. They're not concerned that people who are dead, apparently their families, are receiving Social Security checks. They're not concerned about any federal contractor that's ripping off the government. They're not concerned about redistributing wealth to foreign countries to push agendas that are anti-American or to push terrorist agendas. They don't care. They haven't said a word about it. All week, all last week. They've defended it. They're attacking the people who are exposing it. I just want you to know, America, this is what the modern Democrat Party stands for. Marxism, Islamism, graft, corruption, and fraud. Because it's their graft, it's their corruption, it's their fraud. They're the beneficiaries. Their causes and ideologues are the beneficiaries. Their front organizations are the beneficiaries. So what? There's $250 billion in waste, fraud, and abuse in every single annual federal budget. So what? $50 to $100 billion is lost in Social Security, including to illegal immigrants. So what? This is the position of the Democrat Party. We don't have a constitutional crisis in this country. The Democrat Party has a crisis. It stands for everything that is evil and bad. It stands for everything that is anti-American and anti-Constitution. This is who they are. They're out of the closet. I'll be right back.
Mark Levin.
Did you see what the Federal Reserve did literally days after President Trump's victory? It's lowered interest rates by 1/4. Do you know why it did that? It's worried about the economy. It's worried about the fact that jobs aren't being created. We're seeing all kinds of shifts in our portfolios, and it's important to stay aware. That's why I'm urging everyone to diversify and consider gold as one of your financial shields. Now, gold has weathered every kind of economic downturn throughout history. I want you to call Advantage Gold. They're the best of the best, folks. I've dealt with all of them. They're the best. They're my gold company. 1-800-900-8000. Get a free gold investment kit to see how you can get started with gold. I recommend Advantage Gold to anyone who's serious about protecting their wealth, and that's you. Call 800-900-8000 for your free gold investment kit, and you can even qualify for up to $1,000 in free silver. That's 800-900-8000. Call them now. Tell them Mark Levin sent you. You'll be very happy with them. Performance may vary. You should always consult your financial and tax professional. Have you set your DVRs or your smart TVs, folks? Life, Liberty, and Levin, Saturday night, 8 p.m. Eastern, Sunday night, 8 p.m. Eastern. Don't forget to set it. These shows that we're going to be doing, my Fox shows, my Blaze shows, Blaze Media, and, of course, these radio programs that are going to be very, very important, as they always are, but in trying to understand and unravel what's taking place in this country, very, very important. And what we try to do here is lead the charge in terms of understanding, breaking down the law, breaking down the Constitution, breaking down the logic, and in some cases illogic, and also coming up with arguments and battle plans and solutions. We push the envelope, we push the agenda, we're the point of the spear. This program, thanks to you and the size of this audience, has enormous influence, not just in Washington, but power centers, opinion centers. It's not because I'm powerful and all the rest. It's because you are. You are. We are a juggernaut. That's what we are. You hear things said on here that you'll hear tomorrow on cable on different programs, that you'll hear on talk radio on different programs. You're just going to. And don't forget, we have a very vigorous and vibrant number of platforms that air this program. And so we love it when you listen to our radio programs, AM and FM. It's very, very important. We love it when you listen to our satellite, our friends, Sirius Satellite, and so forth. But I just want to remind you, you can go to marklevinshow.com, click on Audio Rewind at the top, and pick your favorite podcast platform, or go to your favorite podcast platform, and many of you already have one, and just search Mark Levin Show. It's all free. We provide it all free. It's ubiquitous. And, of course, you can now find this program, our full podcast, interviews, specials on YouTube. We have our own YouTube channel. You go to youtube.com at Mark Levin Show, or just search Mark Levin Show on YouTube. And we'll continue to remind you of this. So you can listen to this program wherever you are, whenever you want, all 3 hours, however you wish. We're available for you. Margaret Cleveland of the Federalist, professor. 14 blue states suing Trump, Elon Musk, Doge, claiming Musk is taking actions as a principal officer of the U.S. and thus needs to be confirmed by Congress. The lawsuit also alleges Doge is acting beyond congressional authority. The case is New Mexico versus Musk, D.C. court, not yet assigned to the docket. 14 blue states suing Trump, and so forth and so on. So these attorneys general are all working together. There's a cabal. I'm sure there's an organization that's coordinating all this. They're working with the public sector unions. They're working with other miscreants, malcontents, who do not want their turf touched, who do not want their power base touched. There's an entire subterranean, that's what it is, government. An entire subterranean government that is covered up by regulations, laws that they've made to protect themselves, judges that they've appointed to protect themselves. It's nothing to do with the Constitution, everything to do with undermining the Constitution. A completely subterranean government with its own laws, its own rules. And we were warned about this in the past by Bastiat and many others, and now it's here, and it's here bigly. Bigly! Donald Trump on the RFK Jr. vote. This Caitlin Collins, who's at the White House these days, really, she's the eyebrow, if you want to know the truth. And worse, promoted by CNN because she's very toxic. Stupid and toxic. That's the way it works. Cut one, go.
Mitch McConnell has now voted against several of your nominees. He voted against RFK Jr. as the next health secretary, citing conspiracy theories. What's your reaction to that?
Well, I feel sorry for Mitch. And I was one of the people that he wanted to go to the end and he wanted to stay leader. He's not equipped mentally. He wasn't equipped 10 years ago mentally, in my opinion. He'd let the Republican Party go to hell. If I didn't come along, the Republican Party wouldn't even exist right now. Mitch McConnell never really had it. He had an ability to raise money because of his position as leader, which anybody could do. You could do it even. And that's saying a lot. But the fact is that he raised money and he gave a lot of money to senators. And so he had a little loyalty based on the fact that as leader, you could raise a lot of money. Senators would call me and they say, he wants to give me 20, 25 million. Can I take it? I'd say, take the money.
Mm-hmm. You got it. There it is. This weekend, Life, Liberty, and Levin Saturday, the Speaker of the House, Michael Johnson, followed by the great legal scholar, John Yoo. We're going to get into this stuff, heavy duty. What's going on in Congress? What's going on with the spending and the debt and Doge and all the rest of it? And John Yoo, one of my buddies, known him decades. We're going to talk about, this so-called constitutional crisis. Sunday, we have the great Newt Gingrich and the great Tom Cotton. You're not going to want to miss either of them. Absolutely fantastic. And, of course, you have little old Mark with my opening statements. I was told the other day, and I won't tell you who, but a senior muckety-muck over at the Fox News Channel, that the opening statement I give, Mr. Producer, this is the truth, is the most popular, if not one of the most popular things that happens. The feedback is enormous. It's appointment TV, yes. The feedback on my opening statements on Saturday or Sunday are very, very significant. So I'm told. But that doesn't matter to me. What matters to me is that you watch. So go ahead and lock in your DVRs or however you record it. We'll be right back. This segment of the podcast is exclusively sponsored by Pure Talk. Pure Talk offers great coverage and can save your family money on your wireless bill every single month. Go to puretalk.com to find the plan that's right for you. Thank you again for listening, and thank you so much for this sponsorship, Pure Talk.
He's here. He's here. Now, broadcasting from the underground command post, deep in the bowels of a hidden bunker, somewhere under the brick and steel of a nondescript building, we've once again made contact with our leader, Mark Levin.
Hello, America. Mark Levin here. Our number, 877-381-3811, 877-381-3811. Well, Donald Trump has had multiple press conferences out of the Oval Office on multiple days. By the way, we have a great guest in hour 3. The coach of, I think it's still the number 1 basketball team in the nation, Auburn. The Auburn basketball team in Alabama. Coach Bruce Pearl has become a dear friend of mine and the family. And you're going to see why. Coach Pearl. I want you to hear from him. This guy has a future in other things as far as I'm concerned. He's a good guy. So he reached out to me some years ago, and I've come to like him. I've seen him at various events. I don't go to a lot of events, so various events. But you're going to like what he has to say, too. He's very courageous in that regard. Very courageous in that regard. So let's dig into this, ladies and gentlemen. I take these miscreants and malcontents on directly. Jamie Raskin being among the biggest. We've asked Jamie Raskin to come on the program multiple times. I've said so openly here. I've asked him on Fox, right on TV. Will you come on the show? We get crickets. He's only willing to go on, Moscow TV and stuff like that. That would be MSNBC and CNN. So he's on the floor today, face down, no doubt. Calls Elon, Musk, and Doge the new fourth branch of government. Now, this is what communists, Marxists, Leninists, Maoists, Trotskyites, this is what they do. They take the language and they twist it, and then they project. Got it? So we're talking about this massive fourth branch of government, and so now he's accusing the people who are trying to investigate, audit, find out what's taking place in this massive fourth branch of government, and he's calling them the fourth branch of government. Oh, he's so clever. He's a clever one, that guy. And as he slobbers all over the place, he was behind the 2 impeachments of Trump, the criminal investigations of Trump. He's just a lowlife, is what he is. Cut 8, go.
The distinguished chairman of the Judiciary Committee, Mr. Jordan, invites us to believe that we should just suspend our own interests in legislative power.
Who said that? Who said that? You've had the power to oversee what you've created for decades. You ain't done a damn thing. What are you talking about, jerk? What are you talking about? What have you done with your legislative power other than try to destroy Donald Trump? What have you done with your legislative power when you were in the majority in the House of Representatives? What exactly did you do? You kept growing the government, throwing trillions of dollars left and right, not knowing where much of it was going, but not really caring, because as long as it funds the kooks, the ideology, the causes, the organizations that you support, you don't really care. So what if they're stealing us blind? I'm going to hammer this home. I hammered it home on Blaze. I'm going to hammer it home on Fox as well as I am here behind this microphone. So Raskin says, what about our legislative power? And I say the same thing. What about it? What have you done with oversight? And why do you keep funding these programs? You have conservatives in the House who are trying to trim federal spending. Trim. And they're viewed as, the reptile house at the zoo. And I'm not going over that. Stinks in there. That. Jamie Raskin has never supported cutting a single damn thing, unless, of course, it really does support our Constitution and our national security. Then he's out front. But you get my point. What about the legislative process? What about it? What have you been doing? You schmo? Go ahead.
The laws we've passed, the programs we've adopted, the money we've appropriated, we should turn it over to the new fourth branch of government.
Hold on now. You did turn it over to the fourth branch of government, you idiot. That's the point. The massive bureaucracy. Now, here's what he's doing. He's putting his DNA and fingerprints and his slobbering saliva on all of it. The money we've appropriated, the programs that we adopted. That's right. They've adopted graft and fraud and waste and abuse That's what they've done. They're proud of it. They're happy of it. Point it out. Explain to the American people in your communities, in your neighborhoods, in your church, your synagogue, wherever you are. Explain that the Democrat Party is proud that $50 to $100 billion are missing every year in Social Security. They didn't find it. And they're upset that Elon Musk did find it. Right? Go ahead.
And then he wants to also delegate to Mr. Musk our oversight power. We have an entire committee.
Nobody's delegated your oversight power. What are you doing with it, you schmuck? What did you do with it? You didn't find this stuff. Musk did. Now, folks, this isn't an oversight power. The executive branch has the authority, constitutional and practical, to police the executive branch. It's not a purely legislative function. That's what they're attacking. When the President of the United States says, I'm in charge of HR, the executive branch. No, you're not. We are, and the federal judges are, and the unions are. No, they're not. And so when the executive branch is trying to clean up the executive branch, when the executive branch is trying to audit the executive branch, when the executive branch is trying to gather information about the executive branch, this jackass says they're violating legislative something or other. Go ahead.
By Mr. Comer, we've got our own subcommittee on oversight and the Judiciary Committee, but do they want to...
You have a subcommittee on oversight to make legislative decisions. That's your lane. It doesn't mean it's an exclusive power that the executive branch can't look into its own closets, look into its own files, look into its own desk drawers and so forth. What are you, an idiot? One is not exclusive of the other. Your oversight responsibility is to determine whether legislation is needed. That's your lane. That's it. Trump and his people, their responsibility is to make sure that the executive branch is functioning properly. They're not supposed to close their eyes to waste and fraud and graft to the tune of hundreds and hundreds, if not trillions of dollars. And yet, that's Jamie Raskin. That's Bernie Sanders. That's Hakeem Jeffries. That's Chuck Schumer. And then they say it's a constitutional crisis when you find stuff. No, it's a Democrat Party constipational crisis. They all look like freaks, don't they? I mean, let's be honest with each other. Go ahead.
All of the alleged waste and fraud and abuse that Mr. Musk is finding with his untutored, unvetted, juvenile computer hacker.
What does this mean, untutored, unvetted? And by the way, you young people out there, see how he talks about you? It's the same way Obama was talking about black males. I guess they think the way to appeal to young people is to trash them with a broad brush, to paint them with a broad brush, untutored, what? They're not propagandized. They're not indoctrinated by schmucks like you. They're not part of the system. He's bringing in the best and the brightest, these young geniuses who know how to operate computers, who know how to read data, who know how to conduct audits. That's what he's doing, and they hate it. They hate it. What's wrong with it? There's nothing violating the Constitution. Let me be abundantly clear. The executive branch has every right to manage the executive branch. And he can manage the executive branch with outside third parties. He doesn't have to, that is, Trump, manage the executive branch with all the dreck that's already there. Go ahead.
Come on. Let's show some institutional self-respect. This is the Congress of the United States. We're not delegating our power to Elon Musk or anybody else.
You're not delegating anything. Wait a minute. You're not delegating anything to Elon Musk. But you jerk, you've delegated all your party to the fourth branch of government. All your power you've delegated to a long list of departments and divisions and offices and administrators, and so many we can't even count them. The laws that are made in this country are made mostly by this fourth branch of government that you delegated to. You've undermined representative government. You've undermined constitutional government. You're a joke. But then again, you're a commie. That's a problem, too. Mehdi Hassan is on MSNBC. I'm surprised this guy isn't walking around with a bag over his head. This guy has been a mouthpiece for the Hamasites. This guy has been a mouthpiece for the Israel haters. Yes, you have, pal. Yes, you have, pal. You want to come on here and debate me? Let's do it. I watched a debate the other night. Absolutely eviscerated him. He's a punk. He shouldn't be on cable TV, shouldn't be anywhere. And there's old video of him and the things that he has said, and yet it's amazing. These guys have 9 lives. They do. Doesn't matter how anti-Semitic their words have been, doesn't matter. Now, they'll talk about Kanye West, who is a sickening Nazi puke. Got it? Got it? But this guy, here he is. He's on MSNBC. MSNBC. Apparently, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay to push Talib out there. It's okay to push Omar out there, to bring them on the Sunday shows. Oh, yeah, that's fine. It's all right. Let's listen to Mehdi Hassan, shall we? On MSLSD, cut 9, go.
Well, his personal wealth has rocketed upwards since the election.
Who voted for that?
He did very well out of the election. I mean, this is a guy who I think you and I both mocked him. Many people mocked him for buying Twitter for, what was it, 40 billion, overpriced Twitter.
First of all, notice these people don't have 2 pennies to rub together. How brilliant they are when it comes to Elon Musk and his money. Notice that, Mr. Producer? Oh, yes, notice. He made money, 40 billion, he overpaid for... Well, you don't know butkus about anything, jackass. You don't know anything. You don't have any money. A lot of people don't have money, but to presume that you know about Elon Musk and his money and what he should have paid for something, you're a pathetic joke. Pathetic joke. And who cares if he's made a fortune? Why does that matter? He's made a fortune because he's making things that people want. He's doing things that result in people paying money. Whether it's Tesla, whether it's other things, making rockets. We used to be able to do that as a country, apparently not anymore. And if we save these 2 astronauts, it's going to be Elon Musk. What the hell is this Mehdi Hassan done with his pathetic, sickening little life? Nothing. So now we have to destroy Elon Musk. The problem is the guy is politically bulletproof. Because he's worth $400 billion and give a damn what these Lilliputians, what these effectively gum on the bottom of our shoes have to say. Go ahead.
40 billion. He bought the United States government for 200 million. Now, that is a good deal.
Listen to this. He bought the United States government for 200 million. You should be offended by this. You should be offended by this foreigner. I don't know if he's an American citizen anymore. I don't know if he's ever was. Maybe he is. You should be offended by a guy that comes into this country and wants you to believe that because Elon Musk is wealthy, not because of government, I don't care how many contracts he's got, but because of the private sector. The private sector. That because Elon Musk is wealthy and he's doing a job that Raskin should have done, but will never do because he likes waste, fraud, and abuse. The Democrats have demonstrated us. They've revealed us. They like it. They want it. They're going to spend more of it. And then they're pom-pom boys and girls like Mehdi Hassan, that he bought the government for $200 million. This is how sick these bastards are. This is how sick they are. Go ahead.
And he didn't just buy the government. You know, Miriam Adelson gave $100 million, this right-wing pro-Israel donor. She's getting, Middle East policy out of it. Or other people.
See what I mean? I told you he's a bigot. He's a bigot. So Miriam Adelson, what does she have to do with anything? For $100 million, she bought Middle East policy. She's right upset. She's not that quote-unquote right-wing either, but who cares? Who cares? It's an amazing, all the dark money that poured into the Kamala Harris campaign, almost twice the money that Donald Trump raised. All the Soros money that backs the most radical elements in the Middle East and radical radio and other elements. This guy picks on Miriam Adelson. $100 million for Donald Trump to buy Middle East policy. Not because she just wanted Donald Trump to win to help save the country. No. You see, she's a Jew. And she spent $100 million, because that's what Jews do, to buy Middle East policy. And there's Elon Musk. Spent $200 million to buy the government. And there's MSNBC. Comcast. That gives a platform to this bigot, to this propagandist. That's what he is, in my opinion. My opinion, that's what he is. And by the way, how much are they worth, Comcast? Yes. I'll be right back.
Mark Levin.
This country was founded on freedom. Freedom from a country that forced us to buy overpriced tea, then try blockading us when we dumped their tea into the ocean. How'd that work out? Well, it's time to throw your overpriced big wireless contract overboard, too. You don't need to pay $100 a month per person just to get a free phone. Pure Talk, my cell phone company, says no to inflated prices and gimmicks. With a qualifying plan of just $45 a month, you can choose a free iPhone 14 or a free Samsung Galaxy with qualifying plans. And yes, this is for a premium service. Unlimited talk, text, 25 gigs of data, and mobile hotspot at a fraction of the price of the big three. All on America's most dependable 5G network. Get your free iPhone 14 or Samsung Galaxy with qualifying plans by visiting puretalk.com/Levin today. Switching is easy. Again, that's puretalk.com/LEVIN to claim your free iPhone or Galaxy with a qualifying purchase from Pure Talk. America's wireless company, my wireless company. Look at this from Open Source Intel. Sure, Jamie Raskin and his oversight activities when Nancy Pelosi was lording over the House of Representatives dug into this deeply because we wouldn't want anybody to deny him his legislative oversight functions. Daughter of Hamas leader, writes Open Sources Intel, top advisor, graduates from Washington, D.C. University. Oh, do tell. Rafiz Ahmad, you can see it's moved more towards inviting Islamists into its midst. Research reveals that she is the daughter of Ahmad Youssef, a top advisor to the eliminated Hamas leader Ismail. Her archive biography states that she has worked with Gaza's Ministry of Foreign Affairs, an entity controlled by Hamas, a U.S. designated terrorist organization. So this is an opportunity for Jamie Raskin, Jamie Ratfink, whatever the hell his name is, and the other Ratfinks to conduct some oversight. How the hell did she get a student visa? I assume she did. How did she get a student visa? The alleged daughter of a Hamas leader to go to Georgetown. Georgetown, you really suck. How did that happen? Will the Democrats speak out? Where's Omar? Where's Tlaib? Where are they? Where's the oversight, Raskin? Ratfink? Where is it? Yes. No, we can't find these things out. Ladies and gentlemen, student visas being handed out like lollipops, like candy on Halloween. Yes. Do you want to look into this, Raskin, Ratfink, Rascal, whatever your name is? You want to look into it, huh? Yeah, huh? No, of course not. How about Mehdi Hassan? Does he care about it? Are you kidding me? Mehdi Hassan thinks more student visas of this sort should be handed out. Why? Because he's a sleazeball, that's why. I'll be right back. This country was founded on freedom. Freedom from a country that forced us to buy overpriced tea, then try blockading us when we dumped their tea into the ocean. How'd that work out? Well, it's time to throw your overpriced big wireless contract overboard, too. You don't need to pay $100 a month per person just to get a free phone. Pure Talk, my cell phone company, says no to inflated prices and gimmicks. With a qualifying plan of just $45 a month, you can choose a free iPhone 14 or a free Samsung Galaxy with qualifying plans. And yes, this is for a premium service. Unlimited talk, text, 25 gigs of data, and mobile hotspot at a fraction of the price of the big three, all on America's most dependable 5G network. Get your free iPhone 14 or Samsung Galaxy with qualifying plans by visiting puretalk.com/Levin today. Switching is easy. Again, that's puretalk.com/LEVIN to claim your free iPhone or Galaxy with a qualifying purchase from Pure Talk. America's wireless company, my wireless company.
Mark Levin, America's passionately cerebral voice. Talk with that voice now. 877-381-3811.
You think it can't get lower than Jamie Ratfink Raskin? Or Mahdi Bigot Hassan? Oh, it does. It's a very stupid man who represents Fairfax County, Virginia. He goes by the name of Jerry Connolly. Now, Fairfax County is supposed to be filled with all kinds of sophisticates. Northern Virginia, biggest county in Virginia, a massive county. Spend an enormous amount on teachers' unions and wokeism and all the rest of it there. By the way, there I am minding my own business. There I am with my favorite barber. Her name is Jenny. I've been going to Jenny. Jenny's of Vietnamese ancestry. Lovely, lovely lady. Has wonderful kids, husband, the whole schmear. Mark, you don't need a haircut. My beard grows very fast, actually. And she's telling me about all these days off that they have at school. So now, every ethnic group has holidays, and those days are off. Did you know this, Mr. Producer? Well, I'm sure the Bronx everywhere. So all these ethnic holidays, everybody's off. Then you have the traditional holidays. Then you have the federal holidays. Then you have this joke of what they call Teacher In-Service Day. You know what Teacher In-Service Day means? Teacher No Service Day. They go out, they do whatever they want. Nothing's going on. Nothing. Then on Election Day, they don't work. The day before Election Day, of course, they need to organize. They don't work. So what used to be a 9-month or so academic year, at least in the Commonwealth of Virginia, is down to like 8.25 months. 8.25 months, whatever it is. It's like crazy. No wonder the kids aren't learning. First of all, they're not in the classroom enough. And secondly, when they are in the classroom, unless there's really good teachers, and there are some really good teachers, so if you're a really good teacher, I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about all the rest of them, the ones that surround you, the Nimrods, the low IQs, the activists, the thugs, the union thugs. Anyway, here's Representative Jerry Connolly from Fairfax County, Virginia. By the way, they have a lousy superintendent there, a complete quack. That's right. I think she makes almost as much as Elon Musk. You see, I don't care if Elon Musk makes $1 trillion. I do care when people on the payroll are making hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars, and I'm paying for it with my property taxes, my state income taxes. That matters to me. Or endless number of bureaucrats at the federal government I'm paying for with my federal income taxes. I'm not paying for Elon Musk. Are we? Here's the Jerry Connolly that I've been referencing. Cut 10, go.
What do you think when President Trump makes allusions to the executive branch being more powerful than the
excuse me, this
branch?
is MSLSD. Somebody named Boris Sanchez. Is that a new person, Mr. Producer? Boris. Come home, Boris. Where are you? Mom, I'm at this haunted house. My name is Boris, after all. Go ahead.
Vice President J.D. Vance says that the executive branch's legitimate powers should not be interfered with by the judiciary. Do you think?
Wait, let me get this straight. J.D. Vance said that the legitimate powers of the executive branch shouldn't be interfered with by the courts? You know what we call that, America? Separation of powers. J.D. Vance is right. Wait a minute. That's right. The courts don't run our government. These are lawyers. Some of them were lousy lawyers. I've told you, slip and fall, ambulance chasing lawyers. They hit the lottery. They're wearing black robes. Look at me. I can run prisons. I can run schools. I can run the... Shut up and sit down. Know your damn lane. It's because you're a judge. You're flesh and blood. You're no better than anybody else. In fact, many of you are worse. Remember Dred Scott? What? Plessy versus Ferguson? What? Korematsu? Say what? That's right. You judges did that. Oh. Yes, you did. You should read a book called Men in Black. Spells it out in great detail. Spells out a whole number of Supreme Court justices. Spells out the judiciary. I wanted to name that book, but Regnery, the folks there, wanted me to name it Men in Black. I wanted to name it Judicial Tyranny. That doesn't mean all jurists are tyrannical, but the left is tyrannical. And you see that playing out now. Excuse me, Donald Trump wants to look at the records at the Treasury Department? What's he going to do with that? Try and figure out if the payments are correct. I can't do that. Says who? Says some schmuck judge in Boston. Oh, okay. Let's go back, shall we, to Jerry Connolly. Dumb as a doorknob. Go ahead.
Nor court orders?
I think that's maybe a leftover from Elon Musk's South African heritage, and maybe he's falling too far back on the apartheid system of government that was a fascist form of government.
Now just listen to this lowlife, this illiterate amoeba. This illiterate amoeba. Just listen to how they talk about people. Elon Musk, who's created jobs, who's created wealth, who's contributed to our society, versus this fat slob who sits on his fat ass up there in Congress, gets elected by the public sector unions, has contributed nothing to this country, has done nothing for this country, and never will. Takes a paycheck that he hasn't even earned. Hey, we have a legislative response. Shut up and sit down, fat boy. Let me tell you something. I think left over from Elon Musk's South African heritage, maybe he's falling too far back on the apartheid system of government that was a fascist form of government because he's looking into government waste. Seriously, America? Seriously? Seriously, Fairfax County? This is the best you can do to send this bottom of the shoe piece of gum into Congress? That's the best you got? My God. Then we have Raul Ruiz. Who's he? Nobody knows. Democrat. California. Raul Ruiz, who's also contributed so greatly to America. Cut 11, go.
The other problem is the programs that are under attack. And you're going to hear...
Oh, I see. So programs are under attack. So when you see, they're revealing more, ladies and gentlemen. If you listen carefully to them, they're revealing more than they even know they're revealing. So these programs are intended to be fraudulent. They're intended to be abusive. They're intended to be filled with waste. It doesn't matter. They're intended to be this way. As the grifters on the left, the ideologues on the left, the Marxists and the Islamists on the left, as the people on the dole on the left, the money's being shoveled out to them. Hand over fist. It's just being shoveled out to them. That's the program. Forget about the name of the program. Forget about the substance of the program. The program, quote unquote, macro program, is to shove as much of your tax dollars and debt, which is the future of your children and grandchildren, into the Democrat Party edifice, into their edifice. No, I didn't say shove it into that. Shove it into their edifice, I said. Go ahead.
Whistle that Trump and Musk like to say. We're reading out fraud, waste, and abuse. We're looking at efficiency. That's a dog whistle.
Yeah.
What they're really doing.
Whoa. So it's a dog whistle to find fraud. Folks, I hope you're listening. This is this modern Democrat Party. How anybody could be a member of this party. This is the tax dollars of Democrats, Republicans, no party. This is all our money. And they're now telling you it's a dog whistle. Or it's part of the apartheid system in the long gone South African apartheid government. Or it's fascism. to try and protect your dollars, to try and prevent waste, fraud, and abuse, to try and save Social Security from $50 to $100 billion in people stealing from it. According to the Democrat Party, if you support, I'm surprised I haven't gotten back to Hitler and neo-Nazis yet. Oh, that's coming. That's coming. Just a matter of time. I'll be right back.
Mark Levin.
This country was founded on freedom. Freedom from a country that forced us to buy overpriced tea, then try blockading us when we dumped their tea into the ocean. How'd that work out? Well, it's time to throw your overpriced big wireless contract overboard, too. You don't need to pay $100 a month per person just to get a free phone. Pure Talk, my cell phone company, says no to inflated prices and gimmicks. With a qualifying plan of just $45 a month, you can choose a free iPhone 14 or free Samsung Galaxy with qualifying plans. And yes, this is for a premium service. Unlimited talk, text, 25 gigs of data, and mobile hotspot at a fraction of the price of the big three. All on America's most dependable 5G network. Get your free iPhone 14 or Samsung Galaxy with qualifying plans by visiting puretalk.com/Levin today. Switching is easy. Again, that's puretalk.com/LEVIN to claim your free iPhone or Galaxy with a qualifying purchase from Pure Talk. America's wireless company, my wireless company. Don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, the powerful third hour, the Power Hour, comes next. We're going to have a special guest, the coach of the Auburn basketball team, number one team, I believe, in the nation, Bruce Pearl. Not really to talk about basketball, talk about other things that he talks about and he believes in. And, it's not like this Steve Kerr over there on the West Coast, a radical kook leftist like his father was. No. And Bruce Pearl, he may still be a Democrat. He's been a Democrat. He voted for Obama, but not this time. Not this time. Great guy, really smart guy. And so I want you to meet him. So don't forget that. That's Hour 3. And remember this, too. You can always find my show. Always. MarkLevinShow.com. Go there. That's the mothership. Click on Audio Rewind at the top and pick your favorite podcast. Our podcast is available everywhere. It is absolutely free. Or you can go to your favorite podcast platform and search Mark Levin Show, and that's that. It's all free, 100% free. We also have our own YouTube channel. You can find all my full podcasts, radio, interviews, specials on YouTube. You go to youtube.com at Mark Levin Show, or just search Mark Levin on YouTube. It's that simple. We have our own channel. We're everywhere. We have our friends in satellite, in addition to terrestrial. You can get us on your app, Mark Levin app, iHeartRadio app. We salute iHeart on that. There's live streaming all over the country. I'm telling you, it's everywhere. So you can always listen to us, listen to it when you want to, and listen to all 3 hours. We be there just for yous. As we would say in South Philly, how yous doing? Anyway, here we have Randy Weingarten. I have many thoughts that I cannot express fully right now, Mr. Producer. Randy Weingarten. This woman was basically a substitute teacher. She now runs the American Federation of Teachers. She's a real thug, in my humble opinion. Has done enormous damage to the children of this country, the youth of this country, and uses thug tactics, monopolistic tactics, to keep her union in power. And Donald Trump wants to get rid of the Department of Education. You want to know why? Because it's not educating anybody. It's the Department of let's flunk everybody out. The Department of Education was created as a political sop for the American Federation of Teachers and the National Education Association. It was created with an executive order, an entire department. You can't get rid of a department with an executive order. What about congressional oversight? See, for them, you can create things with executive orders. You can violate Supreme Court decisions and spend hundreds of billions of dollars. You can do all these things. That's okay as long as they are funded, as long as their politics are funded. That's okay. But if you want to take a look, that's unconstitutional. You want to do an audit? Nope, that's unconstitutional. You want to look at the data? Nope, that's unconstitutional. And who's this apartheid South African anyway? Who appointed him anyway? Say the big, dumb Democrats, the party of slavery, the party of segregation, the party of eugenics, the party of separate but equal is equal, the party that's opposed to our Constitution, our sovereignty, our security, and yet there they are. There they are. Here's Randy Weingarten on CNN today. And notice CNN and MSNBC keep bringing in the reprobates, one after another. Okay, bring out our Marxist list. Okay, bring out our jihadist Islamist list. Okay, now, bring out our thug list. Oh, there's Randy Weingarten. She's at the top of it. Notice there's nobody on these networks explaining what's actually taking place. This is why CNN is a nothing. This is why MSNBC is a nothing. Nothing. Cut 13, go.
What we're hearing is just complete chaos and, frankly, a whole bunch of cruelty, because at the end of the day,
we don't need lectures from you about the end of the day and cruelty. Cruelty is you jerk. Cruelty is what you did to our children during the pandemic, you schmo. That's right. Your name is cruelty. Everything you do is cruelty. They're hearing chaos? Chaos, they're hearing. Open borders. Now that's chaos. There's no chaos. Oy. What'd you say, Mr. Producer? And I'll be right back.
He's here. Now, broadcasting from the underground command post, deep in the bowels of a hidden bunker, somewhere under the brick and steel of a nondescript building, we've once again made contact with our leader, Mark Levin.
Mr. President, you won the White House in part because of high inflation. If your tariffs make prices go up...
Excuse me, we haven't asked you to speak yet, please.
Caitlin Collins, mind your P's and Q's. That's right. In the last 3 weeks, the media have had more access to this president than they had in 4 years to Joe Biden. You realize that, Mr. Producer? Yeah. I thought we'd do something a little interesting here. We take a little trip down the Drudge Report because it's gotten so inane, so pathetic, that it's lost all influence. Nobody ever talks about the Drudge Report anymore. Well, Mark, why are you? What? As a foil. Let's look at some of the headlines the hysterical Matt, or whomever runs the thing, has up right now. Trump call with Putin alarms Europe and Ukraine. Spring summit in Saudi. That would be Saudi Arabia. Vance snubs Scholz in Munich. German leader rejects dictated peace. Hegseth roasted over huge F-up. Intel warns Russia arming for large-scale conflict. Kremlin insiders given green light to expand war. Fading Zelensky pushed toward risky election. That's just above the fold, as they say. Then he has a photo of Mickey Mouse. Hollywood rattled by assault on DEI. Dissent at Disney. Capitulation. Wow. Let's look some further headlines over at the Drudge Report, shall we? Kid X keeps saying weird stuff about Trump. Wow. Good one, Matt. Video, shush your mouth. Not cool anymore? Presidency's massive drop in young people's support. He's in. RFK Jr. confirmed as health sec. MAG, what senators voting for Kash Patel ignored. Top prosecutor in New York resigns after being told to drop Adams charges. You know what? Resign. The whole damn bunch of you can resign. Not one of you resigned when you were told to go after Trump, though, did you? We know who you are, what you are, where you are. So go, resign in droves. Goodbye. Don't let the door hit you on the ass. Let's continue. Plan to bring new bombshell indictment charging New York City mayor. Oh, they're leaking on the way out the door. Give them some depends. The Don demands Reuters return $9 million that he gave them after Elon claim. Does now Doge have your social security number? Question mark. This is a Drudge Report. Sneaky. Government removes Tesla name from $400 million contract. President Musk meets Modi. Will face consequences for meddling in German politics, that is Musk, warns likely leader. Hollywood mogul's sister struggled to contain fallout. The cleanup from SpaceX's last launch looms over its next one. See the endless trashing of Trump and Musk and their people? It's just, that's all it is. I think our friend Matt Drudge has transitioned, Mr. Producer, from a Rush Limbaugh conservative to a Bernie Sanders Marxist. And he spent the entire election trying to elect Kamala Harris and defeat Donald Trump. Is he still with us, Matt Drudge, or has he just disappeared? The anointment of Barron. Junior invests in steroid Olympics. Now, most of these headlines, nobody knows what the hell Matt's drinking, but nonetheless. Worcester, Massachusetts becomes trans sanctuary city. Damn it, and I want to visit there, Mr. Producer. Ellen DeGenerate clashes with new British neighbors over $18 million farmhouse. Survey, best time to take a nap, 1:42 p.m. Who knew? Goes on. Over at the Drudge Reports, nothing what it used to be. Woody makes a chop. That is, the Jets owner gets rid of Aaron Rodgers. I have to say, Aaron Rodgers, may I say this, Mr. Producer, or will I be struck by light? He's a weirdo. Is he not a weirdo? You don't think he's a weirdo, Rich? He's an oddball. Kanye West splits with wife. Odd coercion post. Schwarzenegger talks son's White Lotus nude scene. Scores of firings at federal agencies. Purge continues to develop. Oh, it's a purge, is it? Okay. They all get benefits for the rest of their life, but it's a purge, according to Matthew, if that is his name. President admits prices could go up. You know, this is very precious. Watching Schumer go to the floor of the Senate, going up and down with his head, and what does he do? Whatever happened to inflation? Man never mentioned inflation in his life. What about price? Guy's been president 3 weeks. They're trying to sabotage everything he's doing, and then they wonder why isn't he doing this? Why isn't he that? They think we're idiots. We're not. They're the idiots. Musk hits delete. Inflation helped Don get elected. Now it's his problem. Oh, Matt, you're so predictable these days. Pathetically fifth grader childish. Wall Street Journal slams. Does he understand money? I don't know. Does the Wall Street Journal understand money? Do they understand the border? All those years, they promoted a 5-word amendment. Thou shalt have open borders. They attacked the Tea Party, remember? They attacked Ted Cruz when he was fighting over Obamacare. They're very weak. Record stock fragility sends warning to market. Dealers flying gold bars from London to New York. That's why nobody looks at this rag anymore. Banks close 100 branches as bloodbath continues. Americans finding it harder and harder to pay off debt. Well, yeah, we know, dummy. As buyers fail to show up, more homes pulled from sale. World underestimating recession risk. Oh, my God! Let's climb to the roof. This is sort of a website for the Jim Jones types, don't you think, Mr. Producer? It shouldn't be called the Drudge Report. It should be called the Jim Jones Report. Then at the bottom, he links to a bunch of newspapers, which is really the only reason people go to the Drudge Report anymore, because of the convenience of the links. I go to the New York Post, there it is. I want to go to there it is. They're all there. And that's why he puts them there. So he can pretend you're doing your hits on his site because you love the headline. These headlines, who writes these headlines are just unbelievable. Afghan asylum seeker drives into Munich crowd, injures 28. Teenage girl arrested for plotting Valentine's Day mass shooting on Indiana school. Hamas says it will release more hostages as planned. North Korea tourism comes one step closer. Excuse me? Wow. And it's right in there with the big stories, you see. How Airbus is changing air map of the world. Wow. VIP gamblers with betting problems now suing DraftKings. Men may be more romantic than women, experts say. He was genetically destined for Alzheimer's, but isn't showing any symptoms. Controversial director Lars von Trier admitted to care facility for Parkinson's. Free speech dispute over town's pastry shop painting heads to trial. I don't even know what that means. Will spits out kayaker, an incident captured on camera. Now that's the headline right there, Mr. Producer. That should be the marquee headline. So that is the Drudge Report, a.k.a. I don't know. Let's take a look at another, shall we? There's a site called Mediaite. I call it Mediocreite. It's founded by Dan Abrams. Dan Abrams pretends to be a straight shooter. Dan Abrams pretends to be a competent lawyer. Dan Abrams is the Jerry Springer of cable. Here we go. Ready, everybody? Another Trump-hating, Republican-hating, Fox-hating site. Treasury Secretary suggests Musk will turn AI loose at IRS. We'll see where that takes us. Trump gets annoyed at reporter because I can't understand a word he's saying. Well, we watched it. We couldn't understand the word the reporter was saying as well. Trump entertains insane question about USAID rigging the 2020 election. They probably tried. Pete Hegseth reportedly invited conspiracy theorists who vowed to overthrow democracy on first overseas trip. Top New York prosecutor quits in scathing letter accusing Pam Bondi of increased weaponization at DOJ. Absolutely ridiculous. Bush's U.S. aid chief flips the script on Musk, says agency was burdened by oversight. What a loser. Conservative radio host absolutely destroys RFK Jr. and the GOP provoked his wife to kill herself, then dug up her body. That's the headline. That's the headline. Our buddy Eric Erickson. Eric and Erickson and I get along well. We don't know each other, or we know each other. We haven't dealt with each other lately, but he's a contrarian in many respects. But Mediaite, that's what they're looking for. Oh, yeah. That's what they're looking for. So these sites are pathetic. They're all about getting hits so they can make money. And so they're mixed between sort of illiterate, fifth grade, crap, the usual hysterical attacks on Trump and his people, and sort of stuff like that. But actually ask yourself something. What do these people really do? Nothing really independent or thoughtful or profound. They basically grab everybody else's videos and so forth, put them together, put their stupid ass headlines on them, and then comment about it. And I noticed a lot of their people over at Mediaite are radical left-wing kooks. Alex Griftling. Michael Lucky Luciano. Just two examples. Philip Nieto. And it goes on. Zachary Lehman. All big names, of course. Oh, there's Tommy Christopher. Tommy Christopher. I'll be right back.
Mark Levin.
Pleasure to have on these airwaves for the first time a gentleman I've gotten to know. I didn't know years ago, but I know him now, and I like him a lot. He is the head coach of the Auburn Tigers, Coach Bruce Pearl. Bruce, how are you, brother?
Mark, it's great to be with you. I'm doing fine. How are you?
Let me look. I'm doing great, thank you. Your team is number one in the conference, isn't it? Is that what I just looked up?
It's number one in the conference, and it's actually number one in the country right now. So wow. God's blessed us in a big, big way. And this Saturday, we've got a game in Tuscaloosa, Alabama.
Oh,
and
boy.
For For the first time in SEC history, it'll be 1 versus 2. That's never happened before. And so College Game Day and ESPN will be there, and the whole nation will be watching.
Auburn, Alabama. Gee, they've never matched up before in any sport, have they? That's a big deal, and that's a big deal for the country, but especially in the state of Alabama. That is a very big deal. Now, Bruce, you have been voicing more and more your views about a number of things, but particularly when it comes to issues involving the Middle East and Israel. Now, just give it a little bit of background. You voted for Obama, as I recall. You've been a Democrat and so forth and so on, but you've taken a look at things and you said, I don't know about this.
Yeah, Mark, I love my country. I'm a Jewish basketball coach in Auburn, Alabama, coaching in the SEC, living in a wonderful community surrounded by evangelical Christians that think I'm pretty cool. And it could be this way in lots of different places in the country. So I feel blessed, and it tells you a lot about our country that, you know what, you work hard. There are going to be obstacles. There are going to be roadblocks. I've faced anti-Semitism. I'm a Jewish basketball coach, coaching mostly African-American men, and there have been challenges. But you know what? Those challenges have been navigated. How about this, Mark? 3 of the top 6 programs in the country are coached by Jewish men. John Shire at Duke, Todd Golden at Florida, and Bruce Pearl at Auburn. So when I hear from people about all the terrible things about our country and how people can't do this and can't do this and the other, we're not a perfect union, you know what? But we're the best there is. And I'm just one very, very small example of it. And obviously, I think in many ways I've had a lot of success because God had bigger plans for me than just winning basketball games. It was to be in a situation where I would have a platform and have an opportunity to teach as a coach, preach a little bit as a coach. And, for me, obviously, I have a great love for Israel and a real understanding of its history, of the Bible. And every chance I get, I just try to explain it to people that don't know. Because there are people out there that hate us. There are people out there that want to kill us. They want to take us from the land that God promised to us. And you know what we have to do with those people? We got to protect ourselves from them. But there are lots of people that just don't know and want to know. And so I have to live my life, coach the way I coach, and let a little bit of light shine on me and say, look, I'm no better than anybody else, but I'm no worse, and be proud of who I am. And that's kind of what we've done. And it's worked out pretty good so far.
This is, you're listening to Bruce Pearl. He's the coach of the Auburn Tigers, the number 1 basketball team, college basketball team in America today. By the way, if people want to learn more about you or your team, is there a particular website they can go to?
Yeah, they can go to, anything, Auburn University or auburnbasketball.com and, learn a little bit more about what we're doing and certainly follow the SEC. And our league right now, Mark, is as strong as it's ever been. There are 16 teams in our league right now, and right now, potentially, there are 12 teams that might go to the NCAA tournament. In the history of college basketball, wow, no league has ever been stronger. So it's a very, very exciting time to be in this league.
When you speak out, and you do, in your defense of the state of Israel and speak out against those who are really trashing the state of Israel and Judaism and so forth and so on, do you get any pushback?
Auburn is a public school, but they've done a great job of separating and understanding. People don't understand the separation of church and state. It really was to protect the church from the state, right? And so, they recognize my First Amendment rights. And if you look at my Twitter, handle, and people can, follow me on Twitter at Coach Pearl. I don't have anything on there that says anything about the Auburn basketball coach, because when I do tweet and I do teach and educate, these are my thoughts, not that not that of Auburn, and they allow me to do that, and obviously grateful. Mark, listen, there's just so much that's unknown. Your listeners know. I would be preaching to the choir right now. And regardless of what you want to talk about genocide, you want to talk about two-state solution, you want to talk about history, let's just let's just say genocide. Let's talk about that, because that's so much what young students around college campuses are protesting in support of the Palestinians and in support of Hamas and a two-state solution, and that Israel has been responsible for genocide. I'll just take you back to about the time Israel was born in 1948. At that time, in that region, there were about 160,000 Arabs living there. Today, there are about 4 million Arabs living there. There has been no genocide. And of those 4 million Arabs, about 2 million of them are Israeli citizens who are working every day, living their best lives, just like this Jewish basketball coach in Auburn, Alabama. It's over 50% of the healthcare industry. They're in business. They're in the Knesset. So the whole line about genocide just isn't true.
Coach Pearl, don't hang up. I'm going to keep you one more segment, if I may. You're listening to the coach of the number one basketball team in America, college team, Auburn Tigers, Coach Bruce Pearl. We'll be right back.
The Mark Levin Show, live and national at 877-381-3811.
Bruce Pearl is the head coach of the number one college basketball team in America, the Auburn Tigers. Doesn't that sound cool, Bruce?
Man, it's music to my ears. You could say it again if you want to. It's what you work for. But you know, Mark, it's February, and in my business, it's all about who's number one in March. You know, that whole March Madness thing. But our kids have worked so hard, and we've beaten a bunch of really good teams, and obviously we had a great one on Saturday when we play at Alabama. So we're excited about the opportunity.
Do you think one of the reasons you're able to express yourself, and by the way, you don't go off like a kook and start raging out there. You know, you're thoughtful about your views. You give your views in a very intelligent and substantive way and so forth. But do you think part of the reason you're able to do that is because you're number one? I mean, what if you were number 101? Do you think you'd be able to do it?
Yeah, Mark, you'd still have me on, and I'm not on because I'm the number one team in the country. I'm on because you and I have met each other several times at some things that mattered to both of us in support of our country, or the Republican Party, the Republican Jewish Coalition, and the state of Israel, and recognize that. Hey, listen, I'm a good student. I listen to you. I read you. I'm a very dear friend of David Friedman's, and I've read both of his books. And that last book that he's got out, One Jewish State, is really something. The title might prevent people from picking it up, but like President Trump has recently spelled out a very new idea and new way of thinking about how to maybe change the course of the Middle East, because the course needs to be changed with some solutions in Gaza. David spells out some really important things in One Jewish State. You know, Mark, there are about 21 Arab states, and there is only one Jewish state. And Israel tried to comply with the United Nations and the rest of the world and say, okay, let's have another Palestinian state and a Jewish state next door. And it wasn't a very good deal for the Jewish people. But you know what? Something was better than nothing, so we'll take it, and we'll figure out a way to live in peace with our neighbors. And, of course, the day after Israel became a state, the entire Arab world, attacked her from all sides. And thank God she won the war. But the whole thing was simply because there was a segment of the Arab population that simply was not willing to live next door to the Jewish people. In 2005, when we pulled out of Gaza, and when I say pulled out of Gaza, as you know, Israel, in the hopes of a swap for land for peace, anything for peace. You know what? We're going to give you Gaza, and we're going to pull 30,000, Israelis, mostly Russian Jews who really had no place to go after they escaped the pogroms in the Soviet Union in the 1980s and the 90s. We're going to pull them out. We're going to give this to you just as a sign that we want to live next door in peace. And, of course, what did the Palestinians do? They elected Hamas. They became a terrorist state, and it's been a launching pad for terrorism. And right now, the United States government, the State Department, is for a two-state solution still. That must change, because that's not an option anymore.
Well, we are going to watch you guys on Saturday, and we're going to be rooting for you. And I say that because I have a lot of family members, who went to University of Alabama. I hate to tell you this, Coach. Now, some went to Auburn, and by my making that announcement, I'll be a persona non grata. But you're the man. We're going to be watching you. We're going to be rooting for you, and we wish you and your guys all the best.
Well, Mark, I appreciate it, and thank you for speaking so much truth out there, and thank you for loving your country and letting us that want to learn and understand more and be able to defend, what President Trump is doing right now and the great challenge in the Middle East. We appreciate your knowledge and appreciate the way you delivered every single day, and I'm glad to call you my friend.
Likewise, brother, and God bless you. Take care of yourself. That's Bruce Pearl, the head coach, the Auburn Tigers, the #1 basketball team in America, and he makes the right point. The team that's left standing after March Madness, your record is a powerful record right up into and through that process. And then out the other end comes the #1 team of the year. That's the way that works. College basketball is very exciting. I'm not really into professional basketball. I used to be obsessed with it. Growing up in Philadelphia, at my age, I used to be obsessed with Wilt Chamberlain, that whole team. Hal Greer, Chet Walker, Bill Cunningham, Wally Jones, names that some of you older folks may be familiar with. And then later, Jerry Sloan and some of these. I used to enjoy it. I used to watch, and enjoy watching Chamberlain and Russell, Boston in the 76ers. I remember when Chamberlain went to L.A., to the Lakers. Nobody really heard of them before. And they paid him the unbelievable sum of $350,000. Nobody could believe it. $350,000? Now these guys are getting $45 million. They couldn't hold a candle to Chamberlain. And while I'm on that subject, I remember in baseball, this tremendous contract Mike Schmidt got, probably the greatest third baseman ever. Sorry, Kansas City, that's my view. The greatest third baseman ever. He got a $3.5 million contract. Philadelphia almost went nuts. He got what? $3.5 million for multiple years, obviously. And now it's a spit in a bucket. It's nothing. Now I know inflation all, but no. You got players making hundreds of millions of dollars over 10 years. I think to myself, what would a Steve Carlton be making or Nolan Ryan be making right now? What would a Steve Carlton be making right now? They must be wondering themselves. You see these football players too. I'll tell you a quick story. At a convention center, not too big, near where we live in Virginia. And Mr. Producer, that's where I got you the signed Steelers helmet. That's a real helmet. That's not a fake helmet. That's a real professional helmet. Isn't Mean Joe Green signed on that helmet? Who else? Is there somebody else on that helmet? Okay, Bettis. Well, Bettis is like the generation after Mean Joe Green. Bettis couldn't have been more pleasant. He was having a good time. But these guys are like, they have to sign helmets and sign cards and stuff now to make money. Because they didn't hit the pot. They didn't hit it when it was really big. The pot was big. Can I tell you a little secret about Mean Joe Green? He's really mean. It's not a joke. And I don't blame him in this regard. They have a sign, don't walk behind the player. Because, they don't want these players hurt. So the schmo, he's not a big guy or anything. He walks behind Mean Joe Green to get a photo. Did I tell you this, Rich? You're a big Steelers guy. And Mean Joe Green says, what are you doing? I want a picture. He said, can you read? See what the sign says? Oh, I'm sorry. He said, yeah, stand over there. That's what he said to the guy. It was funny to me, not to the guy. And I mentioned that to Pettis. And you know what he said to me, Rich? That's why they call him Mean Joe Green, isn't it? It was very funny. But I feel bad for these guys. They have to go to these things. They don't want to go to these things, I'm sure, and sign. And they just didn't hit it. Like now, these guys, they just make, you could be an average player and you're making multi-million-dollars a year. It's incredible. And these tremendous players, they really didn't make very much. Just the way it was. And, you have these player unions now, and I think there's a point at which it's just too much because the fan pays the bottom line. To go to a basketball game now, it's a fortune. To go to a football game, it's even a bigger fortune. It's a lot of money. And then, you want a beer and a hot dog, or somebody wants a Diet Coke and a hot dog and a salt pretzel, maybe some popcorn thrown in, Mr. Baduz, maybe some potato chips, whatever. If you're just an average family and you got 3 kids and you're in there, husband and wife, you're spending a crap load of money for that day. It's a crap load. It's like Disney. Nobody can afford to go to these Disney parks anymore. These all-day tickets or 3-day tickets. I mean, we have a guy, Julie and I have this personal trainer that I used to have, but, I hurt my leg. I don't have him anymore. He's a great guy, Justin. He told me he and the family, this is like a year ago, they went to Disney for the entire week. He had to spend $10,000, Rich. Between the flights and the rooms and the food, and to get into the park, he said, Mark, it was $10,000. I think Walt Disney's spinning in his grave. Why am I getting into this? I don't know. Does it matter? I like talking about it. We'll be right back.
Mark Levin.
Let's jump into the gene pool, shall we? Let's take a few callers. Let's go to our friend. He's still there. Jimmy! New York, the great WABC. Brooklyn, New York, to be specific. Go right ahead.
How you doing? Anyway, most of us, particularly on the conservative side, we can't help but notice how America and the world seems to be falling apart all over the place. Very dangerous. Well, before that happened, the communist wrote. Now, first off, to your audience, I know you know this. We're considered the bourgeois society, okay? So I want your audience to know that first. This is what the communists write. The ideological...
We are the oppressors, is Jimmy's point. Go ahead.
Right. The ideological erosion of the bourgeois order at every level, social, cultural, political, economic, would precede the initiation of direct frontal assaults on the state. That's brilliant. That's concise. I call that a nugget when I read that in Soviet or communist publications, because that says it all. I read 300 pages, I find 3 nuggets like this, and this is what I focus on. But I have a kind of a remedy for you and me and all of us personally. This kind of stuff could drive you crazy, could make you stressed out, could give you a heart attack. I look at old films of Rodney Dangerfield. You got to check out. Listen, you're going to love this.
I watch them too.
Rodney Dangerfield's 100 Best Jokes. Everybody I tell that to, I see them later on, they praise me for it. It's like a vacation. Rodney Dangerfield's 100 Best Jokes. Hysterical.
All right,
you love it, one after the other.
All right, I appreciate it. There's Jimmy with us. Everybody, why don't we have solutions? Like we can snap our fingers. Well, there's one right there. Rodney Dangerfield, 100 jokes. Very good, his best jokes. Let's continue. Claude, Greenwood, Indiana, XM Satellite. Go right ahead.
Yes, sir. I've got a progression of thoughts here about Biden. I'm sorry to hear that. If we start off with a fact and then we go to 3 steps of conclusions, if you'll bear with me, Biden was judged by a competent medical professional that he, Biden, is not competent to participate in his own trial.
True.
Does that mean, now the progression, does that mean that Biden is not competent to sign legal documents?
Yeah, probably.
Number 2, if he's can't sign legal documents, does that mean that as of the judgment, all documents he has signed are null and void?
All right, let's slow down a second. The guy who said he's not competent is a special counsel who has no legal authority in that sense to make that determination on whether or not he can sign documents. He gave his learned and accurate opinion in his investigation. But that doesn't have any control over anything else. That's number 1. Number 2, when you say legal, does he still have the right to sign legal documents? He's not signing contracts or mortgages or something like that, those of us in the private sector. His legal authority is given by the fact that he's president. That's it. We may not like it, but that's the way it is. And the 25th Amendment was the solution, but they never triggered it. Very fascinating group of questions. I just wish I had more time to address them more fully. We salute our armed forces, police officers, firefighters, emergency personnel, our truckers. I sound like Chris Matthews now. Our brothers and sisters in Ukraine and Israel, and you, the American people. I'll see you right here tomorrow. God bless.